Professor of Comparative Religion at the University of South Florida. He's a great scholar, and he has worked for Christianity, Islamic studies, and he has shown much interest in the study of Sikhism as well. I had a chance to meet him in the university when I went to teach their comparative religion classes, and especially our Sikhism. Then he showed interest that he wanted to come to the Sikh temple, Sikh Gurdwara, and meet the Sangat. I am very much pleased to tell you that he has a doctorate degree. He's written so many books and various papers on Sikhism and Islam and Christianity. His best effort is to work for the interfaith interaction at the university level, at the academic level, and at the community level. So I will request him to come to the stage, and for 15 minutes he will be addressing the Sangat. Varun Ji ka Khalsa, Varun Ji ki Fateh.
Guru Ji Khalsa, Guru Ji Fateh. Respected members of the Holy Congregation, I am honored and I am delighted to be with you this historical day for the Sikh tradition. Guru Gobind Singh Ji, the 10th Guru, created Khalsa on this day in the year 1699 in the town of Anand for the Abode of Bliss. I congratulate all of you on this momentous occasion, in which, in fact, is the birthday for all of you. I want to speak today briefly about a quotation from Guru Nanak Ji, and this is the quotation. "There is no enemy, none is the other, and a sense of universal brotherhood has come to me." This was a revelation from Guru Nanak that has powerful implications for Sikhs and Christians today. It speaks of a powerful reframing of traditional categories in our modern context, often promoting enmity, and often there is hatred generated between different peoples. But Guru Nanak Ji calls all of us to re-envision the other and see each other as co-sharers of the exact same grace of a loving God. When one is filled with God's eternal love, there is no room for limiting chains of seeing your fellow child of God as the other. Sikhism is the 5th largest religion in the world, and today its 25 to 30 million adherents stretch around the globe, although the vast majority of Sikhs, 14 million, live in either the Punjab or modern India, or in the Commonwealth nations of the former British Empire. The Sikh diaspora is so widespread that many Sikhs joke that shortly after astronaut Neil Armstrong began to walk on the surface of the moon in 1969, he felt a tap on his shoulder and turned around to see a man in a turban with a huge beard saying, "Taxi Sahib?" Over 1 million Sikhs live in North America. Except for the Punjab, to be a Sikh means that one is, in the words of the American Dr. I.J. Singh, ordained to remain in a minority. Guru Nanak, the founder of the Sikh religion, began to teach his message in the late 1490s in a decidedly multi-religious milieu. 200 years later, the 10th Sikh Guru, Guru Gobind Singh Ji, founded the Order of the Pure on Vaisakhi Day in April 1699. Sikh scriptures are unique in that they include contributions from Muslims and Hindus as well as Sikhs. For David Cheatham, this sends a powerful message about the acceptance of the spirituality that is present in other faith traditions. The new community of learners at the feet of the Guru lived in the cultural crossroads of the Punjab, and more than half of all Sikh history since that time has been framed in what George Lipsitz calls the productive, destabilizing, and frequently dangerous sites of cross-cultural collision, contest, and change within the web of a British Empire rooted in the historic Christian tradition. Interpreters of both Sikh tradition and to the larger world were also entombed within the consequential presuppositions of both British colonial policies and Christian missionary perspectives. The term Sikh is best translated to be those who learn, or learners. And there is a pressing need in religious studies today to move beyond pasquinades about the Sikh faith, often rooted in nothing more than the uncontextualized textual studies, to look at this faith with fresh perspectives. There's also little benefit in those studies which assert how our various faiths are different, or a focus on differences. This paper is far more modest in my goals. I want to just briefly, for a few minutes I have in front of you, explore how the study of contemporary Sikh and Christian relations can foster a spirit on the part of Christians as they confront their own assumptions of otherness to those who call themselves Sikh, and encourage Christians to learn from Sikh teachers something of their intense devotion and love for God, the greatest guru. One of the issues that many people in America raise when discussing their encounters with their Sikh neighbors and people that they work with or in class with their Sikhs, they comment on dress, or Sikh beards, or their flowing hair. And this leads to a composite sense from non-Sikhs of the otherness of Sikh people. Stereotypical responses see the Sikh as a combination of a saint or a soldier. A confident and mature character will not be threatened by such concerns, will not be worried about how others perceive you, will not be affected by needing or feeling a sense of difference. Sikhism teaches that one can practice the fundamentals of the faith without resorting to fundamentalist intolerance. There's a beautiful quote that I love from Guru Nanak Ji. He taught the people that they should not relate to others with a sense of superiority. He talked about the underlying logic of the caste system in India, and he asked this question to a Brahmin. He said, "How are you a Brahmin and I a low caste? Is it that I have blood in my veins and you have milk in your veins?" Teachers can confront thoughts that students have about Sikh otherness by helping non-Sikhs appreciate the ways that they themselves are different. It was certainly the case that the first Europeans that the Sikhs met in India were seen as implausible. The British that the Sikhs first met were so incredibly red-faced and dressed in such quaint clothes, displaying themselves indecently. Their women even went about barefaced in equally incredible clothes and spoke to strangers with the confidence of men. In other words, when we talk about the otherness of a given people, we need to recognize our own otherness. Or when others talk to us about how we're maybe different, we can encourage them to see how they are also different from us. A sense of otherness between Sikh and their neighbor has often resulted in periods of tremendous suffering throughout Sikh history, and an obvious strength and resilience in the midst of sometimes unimaginable suffering. Christians who worship Christ, who died as a martyr's death on the cross, celebrated this week in Good Friday, as an act of love, can easily understand this theme in Sikhism of redemptive suffering. The poet Naran Singh explained that life should be compared to a fragrant branch of sandalwood, marred by the presence of snakes which must be confronted. All of us must wear the clothes of both pleasure and pain in our lives. One beautiful line of poetry from Sheikh Farid explains, "I thought I alone suffered, but oh, the whole world is overtaken by grief. From the housetop, each abode is equally set on fire." In their history, first Muslim, then British Christian, and more recently Indian Hindus have unleashed violence on the Sikh calm, the community, those who stand together. Seeking to destroy the future. Countless Sikhs were asked to choose between a forced conversion to Islam or death. Those men who refused the force of such hateful bigotry had their beards shaved, their hair shorn, before they were killed violently. Sikh women were sometimes forced by Muslim militants to wear necklaces in public made of the chopped up limbs of their own small children. Horrific events such as the hellish entombment of 2 Sikh children ages 9 and 7 bricked alive by Wazir Khan on the 13th of Po Sambat 1762, after refusing to convert to Islam, should never be forgotten by anyone in the world. Sikhs are called to live a life of peace, but are not obligated to be servants to anyone. They are only obligated to raise the sword only in defense of truth and only as a last resort in protection of their communities. Mahmud writes that the landscape of the Punjab, saturated with so much blood, is also in Sikh minds fragrant with the scent of jasmine. Sikh martyrs, Shaheed, have suffered so much at the hands of Muslim attackers that their lives offer a particular lesson to contemporary Christians living within Muslim majority contexts who also often face persecution. Beginning with a perspective of appreciation and met by oppression, the Sikhs had no intention of becoming serfs under their Muslim masters. They had to defend themselves. Sikh responses accentuate both the potential beauty of devotion expressed by genuine, sincere Muslims and recognition of potential brutality that can be unleashed by any Muslim who is arrogant and intolerant. Sikhs and Christians are also united in their shared experience of living as minorities in Pakistan. The unique prism for interfaith understanding that Sikhism holds about Islam and Muslims offers Christians a creative and balanced perspective in our present context where Christian-Muslim interactions are either empty theatrics filled with glowing platitudes or dire warnings preached by some about the inherent malevolence of all Muslims. Christians who harbor a sense of otherness towards Sikhs have lost sight of a deeper way of seeing rooted in biblical revelation. Both Sikhism and Christianity have long traditions in mystical reflection. Sikh mysticism is not otherworldly, but teaches that the presence of God, the timeless being, Akal Parak, is to be discovered within each human spirit. All forms, saguna, are informed by the formless, nirguna. One should foster an exuberant love for the Lord. Just as the one true God expresses himself in perfection for Christians in a belief in the incarnation of Jesus Christ, Sikhs embrace that God, Wahguru, the greatest guru, revealed himself perfectly in the lives of 10 historical gurus. One must not only know about God with cognitive insight, but enjoy God and experience a sense of bliss, anand, a particular topic of our esteemed Dr. Mohan Ratan Singh. Christians and Sikhs both recognize that life is intended to become more than simply a delusional or maya, materialistic drive to wallow in temporary allurements. Many of our young people are tempted to focus, especially in this culture, on money and the temporal. But a call to a deeper sense of spiritual knowing has enabled both Christians and Sikhs who face miseries to remain unruffled in the face of torture. Both religions embrace mystery, and Sikh devotion can remind Christians to be learners at the feet of Guru Granth Sahib, who warns that all worship is devoid of genuine intention, is empty and hollow. Guru Granth Sahib said this: "You may pray 5 times a day, but only if the first prayer is truth, honesty is your second prayer, generosity is your third prayer, purity of mind is your fourth prayer, and praise to the great God is your 5th prayer. Only then can you call yourself a Muslim." Even though people may put on religious airs and seek to gain attention, their efforts are as foolish as the parading of drunken elephants arrayed in gold. First among the giants in blazing color, and yet last as they depart barefoot from the world. Non-Sikhs can lose any sense of seeing Sikhs as others when they come to appreciate the Sikh vision that is rooted in daily life, a commitment to purity and a holy fear of the great God. A person that fears only God and fears none other. Life is the dance of dances, and the truth of God must be lived out in our daily decisions. Guru Nanak Ji teaches that truth is higher than all, but higher still is true living. For Christians, the love of God is not a theoretical idea, and Christ did not love abstractly in a vacuum. Both Christians and Sikhs speak of those who love God as something akin to intoxicated, love-filled madmen, with God as a spouse to be loved as an intimate soul bride. This will mean that loving God is more important than life itself. The Sikh vision for appreciation of a shared humanity is rooted in a home. For a Sikh, the home is a sacred place where troubles and anxieties cannot enter. In spite of our labels, many of us return to our homes and become fathers and mothers, brothers and sisters, sons and daughters. For Sikhs as well as Christians, the life of faith is to be lived out in the context of our family commitments. Sikhism is a faith that promotes interfaith harmony so that social justice can be advanced. A Sikh theology of liberation teaches that God is the Asur Sanghar, the destroyer of demons. Emancipation must be collective. All humans are born blessed by God, and the mission of life is to protect the weak and protect the hurting. Perhaps one of the greatest teachings that Sikhism can relate to contemporary Christians, who can sometimes be caught up with a sense of their own being right, is the unswerving commitment to mutuality. The Sikh scriptures teach that we should accept all humans as equals and let humanity be your only sex. Guru Har Rai, 1630 to 1661, was known to frequently quote the proverb of Babu Farid that every man's heart is a jewel. Sikhs are called to pray not only for their own communities, but for the benefit of all humanity. The ninth Sikh Guru Teng Bada expressed this belief to use the phrase of Jesus to be his brother's keeper by willingly dying in defense of his Hindu neighbors when they were confronted by the tyrannical whims of the Mughal Shah Aurangzeb. Our respective faiths will be enhanced by a constructive, polemic-free Sikh-Christian dialogue. Listening is the gateway to freedom. Listening marks all who are sincere. God's truth is not an exclusive property or a monopoly to be hoarded by one group, but is a free and inclusive gift for all who are sincere and seek after truth. All of us are God's children. This is the heart of the declaration of Guru Nanak Ji that there is no Hindu, there is nor a Muslim. No Kai Hindu, na Musulman. Interfaith harmony can proceed in spite of our different views or preconceptions when we set aside hamai, our egotism. We need to learn to listen to God by learning to listen to each other. Our common enemy, both Sikh and Christian, is hateful intolerance that seeks to dehumanize and marginalize each other. There's a beautiful story I'll close with from the Brothers Karamazov. The Russian writer Fyodor Dostoevsky warned that fellow Christians must guard against Jesus Christ himself being held a prisoner by authoritarians who fear an open and ongoing dialogue rooted in freedom and love. A genuine love for all people, rooted in the maturity of one's own faith, should remind Christians of the promise of the Bible that God's love is for the entire world, and that God is not willing that any child of God should perish. A transformative heart that engages others also creates a new shared space for a genuine sense of mutuality rooted in respect, where barriers and categories, and indeed a sense of otherness, falls to the wayside. As Guru Nanak Ji explained, and I close with his words, meeting with the Guru, I have abandoned all sense of otherness. Prof.Gorder ji Kai Khalsa, Prof.Gorder ji
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Thank you, Prof.Van Gorder, for visiting Sikh Temple, Sikh Gurdwara here today on the birthday of Khalsa Panth. We are really happy to know that 3 or 4 students who have come with him are interested in study of Sikhism, research on Sikhism. I will request all the students who have come, Prof.Gorder, please stand up and exchange greetings with the congregation. Are they here? Bole so nihal. I thank you, all of you. I thank all of you on behalf of the Sangat and the management of the Gurdwara. Thank you very much. Please sit down. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa. Vaheguru Ji.